out of breath. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of out of breath. Wow. I think I'm out of shape. Man. Oh, I was going to talk about Beyoncé. The concert. That's why I did that. Well, I actually grabbed this sweater just randomly, but and the funny thing is, Spesh, if you see this, you left this at my house probably like 8 years ago, and I meant to give it back to you, and then after so many years, you never asked me about it, and then I just still kept it. But honestly, the crazy part is I've only worn it like twice. So, you know, black people, once you leave it at their house, it becomes theirs. I mean, I'll give it back to you if you ask for it. I will. But I'll miss it. Anyways, but I wanted to talk about Beyoncé because I went to the concert last weekend. Actually, can you guys like take a look at my nails? So cute. My nail tech is absolutely amazing. Right? You see this? You see? Are my hands ashy? Anyways. But I went to the Beyoncé concert last weekend. It was really good, of course. But can we just talk about certain things? For one, something I peeped midway through the show was how she had Saloon on one side and Salon on the other side. So you have Saloon, and it has all of the Sir Davis bottles for her grandfather, honoring her grandfather. And then you have Salon with Sacred in the bottles, and it's honoring her mother, Mama Tina. Then you have Renaissance honoring her Uncle Johnny. Then you have just straight up Cowboy Carter. Yes, it's honoring her family, but it's also honoring the musicians and the activists and those who have come before us who maybe their stories have not been highlighted in the way that they should be. I think that is something that I love a lot about Beyoncé, is how intentional she is, but intentional in honoring those who came before her. I thought that was so cool how she's for every bit of her legacy. On one hand, we could say, you know, we'd be joking like Beyonce keep taking my money, but the money is her ancestors. It's for them. Everything came from what they needed. Like everything came from them first. So it's like, yes, but it's all about what they needed. It's honoring them. And it's also probably, I'm sure some of these items are going to continue. She wants to make sure that their legacy is continued. So while she's building her legacy, she wants their legacy not to end with her. So she's like, yeah, and I'm sure that each of the kids will get a huge cut in their grandchildren and whatever. I mean, she's already said my great-great-grandchildren are already rich. Like, she wants them to be rich, but she wants to make sure that the ancestors and those who came before her are honored in the process. So it seems like she's taking our money, but she's showing us what she can do by having full creative control. Like, there's no investors, it's hers, and she gets to honor her people that way. Most times when celebrities have their own businesses, it's still not their own business. They may have another investor, they may have someone who has some sort of control over it, but their name helps the business, right? Whereas in this case, it's like, no, like, she has full control. We've seen the results of Sacred. Everyone's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've seen the results of Sacred. Like, my hair, I don't know if y'all can tell, but, like, it's grown so much, and I can tell physically because I dyed my hair earlier this year, so you can tell, like, my roots were red, and now they're not anymore. It's, like, at least a good chunk before you finally get to the red now, and it's been 4 months. So it works because she was able to take her time to develop it. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't whatever. So I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting. And it's something I think we all should look into. Like, maybe some of our creative talents aren't just ours. maybe they are belonging to our ancestors. It's a dream that never got to fully come into fruition, or maybe it did come into fruition, but now we can expand upon that. I just think it's important to really just kind of figure out who you are, figure out where you came from, see if there's any dreams that you can continue and that you can call on to your ancestors about. What were things that they did, or what were things that they dreamed of that maybe they didn't get to do, but somehow, some way, you still have that fight in you to do it. You have the ability, you have the resources, or you just have the excitement, you have more than what they have, and you can carry it on. Like, maybe some of your creative pursuits aren't strictly just yours. Maybe they belong to other people that came before you. So anyways, I thought that was really cool. And also, speaking of, I got to see Solange. She did like 5-night showcase in Houston a few weeks before, and phenomenal job. I think Solange is literally so cool. Like, Beyoncé is cool, Solange is so cool. Like, she doesn't have the level of scrutiny that her sister has, and she moves at her own pace. And I think she's mentioned that she does have a chronic illness, so I think it's great that she's able to curate a life that probably allows her to have rest whenever maybe the chronic illness flares up. But I mean, every time we see Soul Angel, baby, she's on a yacht, she's in some water. But when she's not, she's curating art. And it's so funny because I feel like they have the exact same vision. Their execution is totally different. Like, I feel like Solange is basically focused on, let's get certain art that maybe we weren't allowed to in certain places, like her glassware line. I mean, when she came, she had 2 nights at the opera, also honoring Zydeco music. So my family's from Houston, so I knew what Zydeco music was. But a lot of people, even people who are from Texas, if they're not from that part of Texas, they don't understand what Zydeco music is. I thought that was very interesting. She honored that and gave them space. It seriously was the coolest thing, experiencing that with my grandpa. But so freaking cool, because he used to go to that ballroom when he was younger. Like, oh my god. And Solange liked my tweet about it. I was like, ah. But anyways, my grandpa went to that ballroom. He grew up and like went to it, and then he was like, yeah, I used to go there before I got married. And it was just so funny that he got to go back, and he enjoyed Zydeco music. He loves Zydeco music so much. He's the only reason I think I probably know what it is. But you know, to see that, but then also opera. And then I went to the next night. She had Glory, I think it was Glory to Glory night, and it was very phenomenal. I mean, honoring Black women in music, and especially in the gospel space. The lady who was on the saxophone, please forgive me, I will think of her name and I'll put it up somewhere. But amazing. I've never seen a woman get down on a saxophone like that, likely because it's not considered ladylike, but she was classy, okay? But she was getting down. She was getting down. And then on top of that, there was this one performance, which I, first off, you're not even supposed to record, but I couldn't record because I was so engulfed in it. It was like an opera gospel, where it was like this one lady, she was crying in the middle of, at the beginning of the breakdown. So let me paint a picture. There's like opera, there's a choir, there's a lady on a piano. So there's a choir, maybe about 12 to 20 people. And there's this one specific lady. She is kind of like the main storyteller of what is about to go down. So it was like opera and gospel. And so she's crying in this opera voice. So it's a beautiful voice, but you can hear the pain because she's crying. You could hear the pain, the sadness, the depth of the pain in her voice. And then you have the choir that's next to her, and it's like they're moving through her, and her cries, they eventually like evoke joy. So when at first it was evoking sadness, but it was evoking joy. But you were able to see the choir symbolize God moving through her and getting her through her testimony. It was so sick. So sick. I'm telling you, Solange, her mind, amazing. And then, of course, the Clark sisters were there, amazing. She mentioned how, Twinkie Clark needs to be revered the same way as Beethoven and Quincy Jones. Listen, I love me some Quincy Jones. But literally talking about that, like, there are certain artists that I think they belong to our community and we love them, but we need to make sure that we're placing their names in rooms where maybe our community isn't always as welcome, because they are that talented. And what was even more amazing to me is to see, Twinkie and three of her sisters, they have had a career that's 60 plus years. All four of them performing on a stage together. The only one who was sitting was Twinkie because she's on the piano. Other three sisters, they're not sitting. They're standing. They're performing. Insane. For everyone to be healthy enough to perform, beautiful. The music that they made is still impacting us today and will continue to impact us. So I just think it's pretty cool, like, what the sisters have done. I could talk about them so much, and I'm sure that it probably sounds like obsessive at some point, but I think we have so few people that have full creative agency that look like us and are open to sharing that creativity with us. There's so few, because even some of our creatives are still bound by a record label or bound by whatever. Like, they get to be creative. They are their own bosses. They have the means and resources and support to do whatever they put their minds to. I'm sure they have doubters. I'm sure they have whatever. But from the outside looking in, if they were to ever see this, I want them to know that they've done such a phenomenal job at showing us what we can do when we put our mind to it. And if we have resources, we can do even more. It's important for us to have resources. I think a lot of times when it comes to money, we want to be humble and we want to whatever. Oh, and I found myself in that. But, like, being humble with money, I'm not going to get money and become some, like, evil villain. I'm going to get money to help advance my dreams and help advance others' dreams. Me getting money, I don't want to be a billionaire. The only way I'm becoming a billionaire is I don't even know. Like, it would have to be how Beyoncé did it, where it just happened. But guess what? She's investing it. She's creating careers, because as much as she wants us to spend, money with her, whatever, there are people that have to work for Sir Davis, for Sacred, right? They have to work. So she's creating jobs, she's creating wealth, she's creating all of these things through her own creativity and through her ancestors' creativity, by the blessings that she received financially. There's nothing more honorable than that. And it's okay if she has some diamonds to shine, It's okay if she wants to be on a yacht. It's okay. Like, it's literally okay. I think that you have to be comfortable in yourself and not worry about how other people will perceive you when you make a certain level of success. I know I struggle with that, but I'm getting better at, look, I worked my ass off for this. There is nothing I'm doing that, even if I do take 1 minute to be selfish, there's so many selfless things I'm doing, and I don't even have to discuss it, because if you know me, you know me, and I know me, and he knows me, so I don't really need your negative opinions. And I think it gets to a point where you have to really think about that. Like, I don't need your negative opinions. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know what I'm doing here. I'm confident in what I'm doing here. And oftentimes the people that are criticizing you Do you want to take criticism from them? Would you really be willing to switch lives with them? Probably not. So, in one ear, not the other. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Anyways, just yapping, just thinking about things. But I just think that the Knowles sisters and how they execute their creativity, it's amazing. It's amazing, and how they also honor themselves and those who came before them. Absolutely amazing. That's it. KO.